So when it comes to receiving, the ramp rack comes pretty nicely packed. And just for the sake of making sure this video stays relevant as long as possible, I want to make clear that right now it is shipping via freight. The goal is eventually to ship this sport unit in 2 boxes and send it via UPS. UPS should be cheaper than freight. A lot of that depends on your location as a client. So I don't want to give hard numbers because it really just depends on where you are. One of the main reasons they are trying to get on board with UPS is for a more speedy, reliable delivery no matter where somebody is in the country versus freight, which is a lot more, you may not know exactly where your product is in the stream of leaving ramp rack and getting to you. You can see it's on beefy supports. I don't know anything about pallets, so beefy is the extent of my technical knowledge, but I've gotten some other pallets before. You can see that one fell apart. This one was really old. I think somebody reused it for whatever they sent to me. But when you look at the one the ramp rack comes on, I think they build this stuff themselves. I might be misspeaking there, but I mean, all the wood looks brand new, and I've never seen a pallet with, that's not a 2x4. I don't know if a 3x4 is a thing, but it looks like a 3x4 down there. So not only is it palletized well, but you can see it's wrapped, and this might be another reason why I think this stuff is brand new, because there's still sawdust from building it. Because of the fact that they wrapped all that up, that sawdust isn't getting in my ramp rack. And I don't think you'll be able to see because of the light, but somebody cut this right along here on accident, it looks like. But they bothered to go back and patch it up with tape, which is really nice. I don't know if you've ever gotten something that was either shrink wrapped or saran wrapped or whatever the term is, but then there's a big cut in it that just lets everything in, and it's like, why'd you even bother doing that? So this is kind of nice to see somebody went back and fixed that mistake. And I don't want to speak for whatever you get, but at least what I am getting is T20 bolts. So we've got a little T20 guy that will run around here, and these are actually pretty nice screws. I think I'm going to save those. Maybe this wood too. So you didn't know when you buy a ramp rack, you're getting like $600 in lumber and $100 in screws. It pays for itself. Yeah, those are nice screws. Those are the ones that have the little teeth at the end that bite into stuff. These look a lot like decking screws. Maybe our collars here, our side collars, a box of hardware here. We've got a couple of gas struts. We've got our ramp rack built by resource.com. We'll check that out. You can see this is already much less of an investment, both in money, time, space. Well, that's more than 2, so I can't say both, but you can see how something like this is going to be a lot easier for one person to deal with, or if you've got a smaller truck or a smaller fleet, or you're just wanting something cheaper than the ramp rack, but you like the idea, this might be a really good avenue to go with eliminating a trailer, having a trailerless setup. We pretty much got the pallet broke down except for the very base. Kind of nice little collection of lumber and screws here. I know it's pretty nerdy that I'm impressed by that. All right, let's mark that location as somewhere I put a scratch so we don't say anything bad about their process. Which that does bring up a good point. I'm sure they don't want you using a box cutter on the metal. That probably isn't a great idea. Ramp rack, stop pulling a trailer. I even put in some thread locker. Look at that. So I'm wondering if I should be intimidated by this, and I guess throughout the course of the video we'll see. I mean, all this stuff feels really heavy, which who knows if that means it's reliable or not, but I would prefer it be heavy than light. What I also want to show you is, can one person handle this? And absolutely they can. Well, I guess that depends on the person, but I've got our 2 side I don't know why I keep calling them collars, if that's the right term or not. Some kind of hitch right here. I'll put the right words on. This might be the dovetail, and then we're just left with the 2 sections of ramp. Can one person do those? And I think, yes, you can. Again, it depends, but I'll set it up so you can see me do it. Oh, I was like, man, this piece is a lot heavier, but it's bolted to the pallet there. So at least for me, just grabbing a hold of this top bar is the easiest thing. The sides, you can see, are real narrow, so it's not great to grab a hold of. So one of the main reasons I broke all that down wasn't just to pad the runtime of this video, but it was because I think one of the big draws of the ramp rack sport is going to be for solo guys or people who don't want to deal with a full-size ramp rack. I can't even speak after all. You can tell I'm out of shape. But so I think it's important to show how one person can handle it, and if you're tight on space, or if you get the freight delivery at a bad time or it's about to rain like it is here today in Florida, how quickly can one person break down that pallet and get everything inside if you're not ready to install it, but when it shows up. And so that's why I showed that part of it. So I still have to break down the rest of the pallet. I will spare you watching that. Next we'll move on to the installation, which for you will be coming up next, which for me will be a different day.